All right, the 49ers talked a lot this week about it isn't really a must win, but it kind of feels like a must win. In the game here Thursday night, 49ers beating the Seattle Seahawks 36-24 had definitely a different feel to it. So we're going to talk a lot about that. But first, this video is brought to you by Canyon Club Brewery, a restaurant and beer garden providing fresh beer, delicious bites, and a family-friendly atmosphere in Moraga, California, right down the road from where I live. And I tell you, it is definitely one of my go-to spots. And look for Canyon Club Brewery coming soon to the Danville Livery right off of 680. And I can assure you, many times on my drive home from Santa Clara after a long day of covering the 49ers, I will be stopping at Canyon Club Brewery to unwind. Okay, the 49ers definitely felt like they had to unwind after that disastrous loss to the Arizona Cardinals in week 5, losing a big lead to the Cardinals, second big lead they've lost to an NFC West opponent, having lost a double-digit second-half lead to the LA Rams as well. And this one kind of had that feel to it as well. 49ers were up 23-3. And they finally score a red zone touchdown. George Kittle with a remarkable catch at the front pylon on a great pass from Brock Purdy. So the 49ers take a 20-point lead early in the third quarter. And then the next thing you know, Laviska Shenault is going the distance, 97 yards, another 49ers special teams blunder, some bad tackling. And then the next thing you know after that, the Seahawks score again, and they cut that 20-point lead to a 6-point lead. They have the football for a couple drives, and the 49ers put the clamps down. And this was a huge game for the old guard. You know, if you're called Brock Purdy the old guard, but a huge bounce back game for him. Deebo Samuel, a big time play, 76-yard touchdown to get the 49ers going. And then it's Purdy, it's Kittle. But this game was every bit as much about the rookies. Malik Mustapha gets his second NFL start. He comes through with an interception early in the game to thwart a Seattle Seahawks potential scoring drive. Later in the game is Renardo Green making the interception of Geno Smith this was at a time when Seattle had cut that lead to 6 points. And then it's Isaac Guerendo, the first time that he's really shown up, a 76-yard run for him to set up the clinching touchdown. The clinching touchdown comes from Kyle Juszczyk. So the 49ers in this game, they did what they had to do. And I thought they played very well on both sides of the ball. One of the big things that happened before the game was watch Charvarius Ward out here. He was listed as questionable with a knee injury. He tried to get out and see if he could, how his movement skills were. And the 49ers said, nope, he's just not ready. He didn't feel ready with the knee contusion. So he's inactive for this game. And I thought that's going to be a big time detriment to the 49ers without one of their top cornerbacks, and they're going up against a Seahawks team that really puts 3 wide receivers out there. That's their base offense, and it's 3 guys who can flat out play. And so without Charvarius Ward out there, I thought the 49ers defensive backs really stood up, and it was, Malik Mustapha at the safety position. Jair Brown had a good game. George Odom came in at safety when Mustapha went out with an injury, and he had a bit of pass breakup deep down the field. But it was Renardo Green, Isaac Yiadom. Yes, he had a pass interference penalty in the end zone, but I thought Yiadom played well. And then Diamador Lenore. I'm telling you, this guy can flat out play. He plays great on the outside. They move him into nickel in those passing situations, and he's good there too. The biggest stat of this game was DK Metcalf. Geno Smith made it a priority to get the ball into the hands of DK Metcalf, and the 49ers defensive backs really came through with a big game. 11 targets for DK Metcalf, only 3 catches for 48 yards. The 49ers only had 1 sack in this game, and this came kind of late with Sam Okawanu breaking through finally. But Nick Bosa, 14 quarterback pressures, according to Next Gen Stats. That's the most in 4 years in the NFL, period. The other guy who got 14, That was Nick Bosa back in 2022 against the Rams. So really a strong overall effort for the 49ers. Their shorthanded defensive line played well. The Seahawks wanted to run the ball. They wanted to get the ball into the hands of Kenneth Walker III, and they did. He had 14 rushing attempts, but only 32 yards in this game, 2.3 yards per carry. So it was a really good effort, I thought, from the defensive line, rotating all those guys in. Fred Warner at the linebacker position. We saw more of D. Winters taking over for Devondre Campbell in the second half, but the defensive backs played well. In fact, Bosa said he felt like it was the best game for the defensive backs that he's had since or in a long time anyway. So the defensive line played well. I thought the offensive line was really, really good. When you think about it, with the way the 49ers were able to run the ball with Isaac Guerendo, 99 yards on 10 carries. Jordan Mason had 9 carries for 73 yards. Brock Purdy was not sacked in this game, and he had a big bounce back game. I thought that Brock Purdy probably had one of his worst games since he's taken over the 49ers. And he hasn't had very many games where you can poke any holes in it. But I thought the game against the Cardinals was not one of his finer moments as far as just the decision making, the thought process, seeing things clearly, but he bounced back in a big way. 18 of 28, 255 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, a passer rating of 129.3. And he got the 49ers going with that long touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel. Samuel made a heck of a play. Julian Love came over. He caught the pass in front of Love. Love goes flying by, and then Deebo Samuel takes it all the way with Boye Mafe in pursuit of him. And then it was Kittle and Purdy hooking up for 2 second half touchdowns. 49ers again had their problems in the red zone in this game, going 0 for 2 in the red zone in the first half, but they turned it around in the second half and they went 3 for 3 with 2 touchdown passes, Purdy to Kittle, and then also Juszczyk with a 6-yard run that clinched it late. That was after Guerendo's 76-yard run. So a lot of heroes for the 49ers. The rookie class really stepping up with, like I said, Mustapha, with Renardo Green, with Dominic Pooney having another very good game at right guard for the 49ers, and then Guerendo kind of putting the final pieces on this. So the 49ers improved to 3-3. They are tied now atop the NFC West with the Seattle Seahawks, who are also 3-3. And everything, I guess, is right for the time being with the 49ers. The Arizona Cardinals can also climb into a tie for first place in the NFC West if they can beat the Green Bay Packers on Sunday at Lambeau Field. So this was, I felt, like a get-right game for the 49ers in a lot of ways. And I think, the coaching staff had this team well prepared. Kyle Shanahan pushed the right buttons. I mean, this game, it got scary. And I mean, I could have almost heard the 49ers fan base crying, screaming about 49ers letting another lead slip away. Kyle Shanahan would have been the target of a lot of criticism if this had happened. And I asked Shanahan about it after the game, just what he was thinking as the Seattle Seahawks were clawing their way back into it. And he said that he made a conscious decision not to think about it. It was just focus on the next play, the next series, the next play call, and staying in that moment. And I thought Nick Sorensen and the defense, they had a good game as well. So let's talk about the special teams. Special teams had some good plays, creating a fumble that led to 3 points early in the game, but then they gave up the big touchdown return, and that really opened the door for Seattle to get back in it. So again, the special teams giveth, they taketh away. And there was another play where the 49ers believed that they had a turnover on special teams with a muffed punt. And Brian Hampton, who's in charge of the replays and kind of rules interpretations up in the booth and has a direct line to Kyle Shanahan, he told Shanahan to throw the challenge flag because he felt like that punt was touched by the Seattle punt returner. And the director of officiating for the NFL said it was only after Craig Rolstad, the referee, made the call on the field or announced the call that it would stand, that it wouldn't be a live ball. And the 49ers did recover that, by the way. It was only then that they saw the enhanced replay from Prime, something that I think all of you watching at home saw and were very vocal on social media that the NFL messed that call up. And indeed they did. So, interesting night here in Seattle. And I just am reminded of a time when the 49ers could not win up here. They struggled mightily, and this is a tough place to play, but there were a lot of 49er fans out, a lot of red here. And I saw it last night, Wednesday night, downtown, a lot of 49er fans. 49er fans showed up in full force at Lumen Field, and the 49ers come away with the victory, a big win when you consider the ramifications of just what this meant, how the 49ers have to get back on track. Yeah, it wasn't a must win, but every game now takes on greater importance with the stumbles that they've had through this point in the season. So next up for the 49ers doesn't get any easier. They have their mini bye week, as they call it, facing the Kansas City Chiefs on October 20th at Levi Stadium. The Kansas City Chiefs have their real bye week, so they'll be coming to Levi Stadium as an undefeated team. And just for a quick look ahead to that, Trent Williams said after this game, he said, it's just another game. I kind of believe him because the way he worded it was, there's nothing that we can do in the game against the Chiefs there as far as revenge or anything else that has any impact, that it won't take away any of the hurt from losing in the Super Bowl, but it is just another win. I think from the standpoint of the emotional toll that it would take if the Chiefs beat the 49ers again, there's just some hurdle that they have to overcome when it comes to playing the team that is the two-time defending Super Bowl champion. I think it would do the 49ers a lot of good. Certainly it would do a lot of good in the win-loss column, but also I think just for their psyche and for the belief that they can win it all, I think that is kind of a big hurdle for this team. So that's where we're at. 49ers are 3-3 after a tantalizing game, and a game that in my story, one of the first things I wrote was just, this is ridiculous how the 49ers have let these big leads slip away. But there was something that they showed on Thursday night. It was a resolve, that it was like a conscious thing. Like they just can't let this one get away. And so guys stepped up, and you didn't sense that they were tightening up during the key moments of this game. And the 49ers ultimately made the plays they had to make. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, all of the above. And thanks to Canyon Club for sponsoring this video. And that's it for now.